What's going on? This is the Gamer Buff. It's a weekly rundown of gamer news. I'm Jefferson Carps with the Gamer Buff, Dove Larson. What's going on, Dove?
Not much. How you doing, Carps?
Couldn't be better. Let's hit the news. Dove, I want to start. This is really fun. The Indie Game Awards have announced the nominees for this year. Game of the Year nominees, including Botched and show favorite, Nine Souls.
Hell yes.
Dove, talk about these awards, and who do you like to take home the award?
Well, I mean, it's the inaugural Indie Awards. It's an organization that's forming just to recognize, true indie developers, and so we can get an honest opinion on some indie titles. And to talk about some of the game of the year, I mean, they got some good ones. Mouthwash, that's a crazy, just mind-altering game. I haven't had enough time. Neva, another great one. UFO 50 is like a retro platformer that's getting a lot of love. Animal Well, I really enjoyed. It's a non-competitive Metroidvania. A lot of like puzzles in that one. Really great. Palworld, as you talked about, and my favorite, Nine Souls. You gotta talk about Nine Souls. I feel like it might not get enough love because it didn't come out on the consoles until now. It's coming out at the end of this week. Basically, by the time you're watching this, it'll probably be out on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and the Switch. So right after Thanksgiving, it's going to be out. So check out Nine Souls if you haven't. It's amazing. Metroidvania meets Souls-like. It's so much god darn fun. I love it, man. You got to try it. If you haven't seen it, check out my video about it. Little deep dive there, but
yeah, the Nine Souls
game.
Indie Spotlight at Two Heads to the Beard, Dove's Indie Spotlights. Dove, I think, Palworld is going to win this award, Game of the Year, don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people are getting giving it love because it's addictive. It's a great game. You can play it on all different platforms, mobile. It's just very accessible. So I mean, right. I think that's gonna win, but I love Nine Souls.
I know you love Nine Souls, but Botched, beyond the fact that it is a great game, just like the sales numbers and the people playing this, it's a gigantic, veiny, raging success.
Yes,
that's what it is. Tim, don't look at me. That's what it is. It'll be fun.
It's a throbbing success.
That's it. The Indie Game Awards, December 19th. That is ramping up. We look forward to it. Dove.
Yeah.
Sam Lake and Remedy delivered an update on Control 2, revealing that it will be an action RPG.
Yeah.
Now, talk to the layperson. What are some differences we're going to see from the original, and how do you feel about the change?
Well, they haven't come out and officially said the exact changes, but they are switching from an action adventure game to an RPG action or action RPG, whichever order you want to put it. And really, the main difference is going to be like there's going to be a deeper skill tree, deeper power tree, all that stuff. You're going to have more decisions to make, a lot more customization. I don't think it's really going to change too much of the gameplay other than like the build that you have. And, a lot of people are worried about the narrative because Remedy games, Control, Alan Wake, they're very tight and concise with their story. So adding an RPG element, which has a lot of choice and a lot of chance to change a story and the outcome and all the, things that happen along the way of the story. I think people are worried, but honestly, Remedy has the ability to incorporate all those. The way they do their stories, the way they incorporate all the different worlds and universes with Alan Wake 2, you see it come together. I think they could do it where they could take all the choices and somehow combine it into a canon narrative. Somehow they could do it. So I'm not worried about that. I don't think it's going to change much, but I think it's going to be pretty fun because instead of just having a character that you max out their powers, you're going to have to go down a certain route and make a character a certain way, and you could change that for another playthrough. So it gives it more replayability. I think it's a good idea. I think it just begs for that kind of setup.
Sure. I think it's going to work out really well because I don't think the story is going to be an issue. even with the RPG factored in. What Remedy does and what they're trying to do is just they're creating this universe, and all their games are going to exist in this universe, and they're going to take it to TV. They're going to take it to live action, and this is just part of it. I think it's going to be a huge success. Control 2, Sam Lake and Remedy, they could do no wrong right now.
No,
they can do
not
no
to
wrong.
Me. They're amazing.
Stuff.
What's going on, bud?
Palworld.
Oh,
our boys at Palworld. They continue to line up defenses in their battle against Nintendo in the Pokemon lawsuit.
Yes, sir.
What's the latest angle being thrown around right now?
A couple ideas. The most recent one being that there was a patent of not a patent, but a GTA 5 mod back in 2016 for GTA 5. Had some Pokemon mechanics, and basically the one in question that Pokemon is suing Palworld over infringement on. So the idea is that with the GTA 5 mod being years before any patents being filled by Pokemon and Nintendo, that could completely negate any patent that they have. So if that happens, basically Palworld would be off the hook for at least one of the current cases. That being the most, I don't know.
Yeah, that being throwing a
but
ball at a monster to catch it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think they're grasping at straws. I mean, but it's a mechanic. It's close. You're right, but I mean, you didn't patent that stuff, so I mean, Nintendo waited too long to do it, and now.
But the GTA mod, there was no patent on that. I mean, they were throwing balls at creatures,
right? But and I'm not an expert, but what I have read from experts in law, in Japanese law in particular, the fact that it was out in 2016 pretty much null and voids any patent that Pokemon would have. And again, I am no expert in Japanese law. That's just what I'm reading on IGN and PC Gamer.
Right. Well, I happen to be an expert on Japanese law.
Well,
and I am telling you that if they delivered that patent in 2021, how could they go back and take it away because of some fan-made modification from 2016? I don't think they can. I don't think this is going to help at all in the Palworld defense. Now, I think Palworld's eventually going to get all these thrown out because I think the whole idea of it is ridiculous, and it's just Nintendo being jealous and afraid of a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, I don't agree.
I mean, you can agree, you can't agree. Maybe, basically, when they filled the patent out, maybe they just weren't aware of that mod at the time. So, I mean, now that it's been brought to the attention of the legal system over in Japan, they see, oh, well, you shouldn't have attained that patent because someone else had created it. So maybe that's it. Again, I'm not an expert, but that's my argument.
They rip it away, and then the patent doesn't exist, and then that part of the lawsuit obviously does not exist.
That's what people are arguing.
All right. This is it. PlayStation 5 Pro players are experiencing a lot of issues on their new $700 console. Games like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, Black Ops 6, Silent Hill 2, and Alan Wake 2 have all been affected.
Mm-hmm.
What are the issues? How does this happen? And when can we expect a fix?
Well, there's no definitive date, but I mean, a lot of the fixes issues that have been brought to the attention of the developers have been fixed relatively quickly. One in particular was for Spider-Man 2. There was some flickering with some lighting, and that was taken care of within a week. So they're aware of the issues, and depending upon the developer, how quickly they can get to it is the case. Some people are saying that it's a problem with the upscaling. I am not a techie expert by any means, but it's just something in the coding where they're trying to enhance the video, and it's just not responding well to all the programming from the game. So once they figure that out, hopefully these $700 consoles are going to be worth the price of admission. But right now, a lot of people are pretty pissed off, and understandably so.
They should be. They should be. How does it get to this?
I honestly don't know.
They test these things?
Yeah, you think that would happen. You think there would be some test on consoles. I don't understand how it gets this far in development, it gets into customers' hands, and they're like, oh, well, we didn't know that was an issue until you brought it up. Some of these issues like lights flickering, blurred objects, bad ray tracing, you know, like you would notice that instantly if you did some quality assurance, which, places like Bethesda are passing off to third parties. So
yeah, that's another story for another day. So the fix is just based on individual developers when they get around.
Yeah, it could be that. From what I'm reading, it could be a little bit of that. It could also just be that upscaling issue. If that's the case, it could be something that PlayStation 5 has to fix. But something right now is just not working in the background of the programming language, and neither PlayStation or the developers have been forthright with the exact cause as of yet. But you can rest assured they're working on it, because people are pretty pissed off about it.
Yeah, well, that's mighty great of them. Yeah. The good news here, if you spent $700 on PS5 Pro, you can still play these games without issues. You just can't do it with the Pro patch. So,
yeah.
Good
thing you spent all that money to
great.
Play it like every other PlayStation 5. But, have patience. And then, it should blow the other ones out of the water, because it's really good hardware.
I disagree. Do not have patience. Complain day after day, hour after hour. Ask for a refund. Just raise hell.
Yep.
Raise hell, PS5 Pro players. All right. Dub, what's coming up on Monday?
We are talking about a review, new game coming out, Jim 2.
JIM 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, Stalker 2.
Oh, it's called Stalker 2.
Words transpose. I screw them up.
One and the same.
Yeah, it's first person survival horror. The very first time I looked at this, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a Fallout clone or something like that, just like a little more hardcore. I could not have been more wrong. But I love what it is. It has some similarities, but not enough to even say they're in the same ballpark. It's a great game. It's great action. It's very challenging, and I'm really into it. But more on Monday, so check it out.
Stalker 2, first person survival coming out. Does review Monday at 2 Hats at a Beard. It's out Monday and for the rest of time. Jim Adams. Jimmy Jam producing the show.
Yeah, doing
flapping
a
his
good job.
hat and soaring off into crappiness. What?
Okay, that's one way.
What's going on? Clean it up for us.
No,
what
actually,
did we miss?
No, great show, really clean. One thing for the people out at home there. You mentioned 9 souls earlier, right?
Yes.
So where might a sneakerhead find these 9 souls? Are we talking Foot Locker, Lady Foot Locker? What are we? I mean, just for the folks.
Wait, the only 2 companies you could come up with were Foot Locker and Lady Foot Locker.
It's 2024.
I'm incredibly.
Listen, please. It's 2024. Is there really still a Foot Locker and a Ladies Foot Locker? Wouldn't they just all be Foot Locker?
I never understood that at all.
Point there. So where would they? I guess back to the question. Where would they find these 9?
Yeah,
souls?
where do you play 9 souls? He really wants to know. It wasn't just about a terrible sneaker joke.
At the end of this week on all major consoles, PC.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure about Mac, but
all right,
those for now.
Okay, cool. That's
one of my favorite games, man. I'm not even joking. So much fun, a lot of fun.
Yeah, you love that game. You put a lot of time into 9 souls. Might
so
be the game of the year.
That's
the Indie Game Awards. We'll see. Jim, is that it? Are you done?
That's all I got. Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. He's the Gamer Buff, Dove Larson. Like, share, subscribe for more content. Dove's Digital Deep Dive, the Indie Spotlight, the Gamer Buff Podcast at 2 Hats at a Beard. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. We'll do it again in a week. Hey, fellas. Game on! Harvey, give me a game on!
Game on!
There he is.
Game on, Carps.
Lady Foot Locker.